Hello and welcome to a special edition of Ebert Presents at the Movies. I'm Ignacy Vishnevetsky of Mubi.com.
And I'm Christy Lemire of the Associated Press. Woody Allen's riding high these days on the success of his movie, Midnight in Paris.
But 31 years ago, Siskel and Ebert were here in the balcony debating who was funnier, Mel Brooks or Woody Allen. We're taking a special look back at some classics from the vault. And what a shock. Roger and Gene didn't agree on this one.
Mel Brooks and Woody Allen, the two most successful comedy directors in the world today. Now, who's funnier? To me, it's Mel Brooks. I love his sight gags and his slapstick.
And I say it's Woody Allen. His comedy makes me laugh and think.
And this special Take-Two program will take the form of a debate with film clips. The issue is, who's funnier, Mel Brooks or Woody Allen? In Woody's corner is Gene Siskel, film critic of the Chicago Tribune.
And speaking on behalf of Mel Brooks is Roger Ebert, film critic of the Chicago Sun-Times. Now, Roger and I, and most of the people we know, agree that Brooks and Allen are America's two funniest filmmakers. There are many similarities between the two men. Both are Brooklyn-born Jews who began their careers as gag writers and as stand-up comics. They even worked together as writers for the same television program, Sid Caesar's Your Show of Shows, back in the 50s. And yet, there are dramatic differences between the films of the two men. We'll be looking at their different approaches to characters, ideas, and to comic situations as this debate continues. Okay, here we go.
Okay.
Let's start with the major difference, which is the subjects they make fun of.
What Mel Brooks has the most fun with are movies, old movies. He says he spent half his childhood in the dark of a Brooklyn movie theater, memorizing the film classics of the 30s and 40s. And those old movies must still be tucked away somewhere in the back of his head, since almost all of Mel Brooks' pictures make fun of old movie cliches and stereotypes. He started out with the producers in 1968, and we'll have a scene from that later on, but his first real target for satire was the Western. In Blazing Saddles, made in 1974, Mel Brooks turns every Western cliche upside down. Here's his parody of the classic cowboy fistfight with bad guy Alex Karras doing the punching.
Hey, you can't park that animal over there. It's illegal.
Young Frankenstein was a takeoff on the classic 1935 horror film, The Bride of Frankenstein. All the Frankenstein pictures had trick bookcases, and Mel's is no exception.
There's always a device. If I can just spot the triggering mechanism. Hello? It seems louder over here. Hand me that candle, will you? Put the candle back. All right. I think I have it figured out now. Take out the candle, and I'll block the bookcase with my body.
Don't put the candle back.
Next, Brooks poked fun at glamorous movie stars in Silent Movie. And he did a hilarious version of that old movie standby, the bathtub scene. This time it's a shower at Burt Reynolds' house. So Mel Brooks satirizes old movies. He plays off of our own shared sense of movie history because we know these cliches and stereotypes as well as he does. That's part of the fun. We're in on the joke.
Okay, here we come to the part where I attack you and Mel Brooks. But
wonderful.
First, what I really want to do is say that I think that Mel Brooks is a terrific comedy filmmaker. He's my second favorite comedy filmmaker in the 70s.
After Woody Allen, right? And vice versa for me. It's a two-way street.
I think what we really want to do here that's worthwhile is talk about directions in these two filmmakers' careers. We think they're very good, and we both see danger signs in the most recent films that each guy has made, and we want to point those out to each other. In Mel Brooks, I think it's the last two pictures that bother me. He's parodying silent movie, and then in the Hitchcock parody, High Anxiety. I don't think those are inspired choices of things to parody. I think he's repeating himself, getting a little stale.
As far as I'm concerned, if he can continue to be as inventive as he has been, I'm not concerned about the direction
And I
of his
see
career.
warning signs of repetition, and I prefer a filmmaker who changes and grows and tries to stretch himself a little more. For example, I'm thinking, you might guess,
A random example.
Yeah,
Let's have
Woody
one.
Allen. I think Woody Allen keeps growing as a filmmaker. His films have been mostly about his difficulty, every man's difficulty, in establishing a long-lasting relationship with a woman. Here's a series of scenes from 3 Woody Allen films spanning 9 years. Watch how he grows more competent as a lover and as a filmmaker. We begin with the first film he directed, Take the Money and Run.
Are you in the Philharmonic?
Yes, I am, actually.
Oh, that's right.
Here, Woody Allen has fallen hopelessly in love with Janet Margolin. But he can't talk directly to her about his feelings, so he tells us about them in narration, in a primitive movie style that sounds like one of Woody's old nightclub routines.
I know I was in love. First of all, I was very nauseous. You know, I never met such a pretty girl, and I guess I'm sensitive because, you know, real beauty makes me want to gag. Plus, I don't know how to act with girls. You know, I'm shy. I'm just nervous around women. I have a tendency to dribble.
In Love and Death, Woody can at least talk to a woman, but she takes the lead when it comes to sex.
Must be lonely at the front. How long has it been since you've made love to a woman?
What's today? Monday, Tuesday, 2 years.
2 years. You remember how, of course.
Well, if you start me, it'll all come back.
Remember that?
Yes, that was just like kissing, right?
Love and Death is a costume drama, a more polished film than the last one. And even though Woody still acts like a sexual bumbler here, he's beginning to have his potent moments.
You're the greatest lover I've ever had.
Well, I practice a lot when I'm alone.
I'm not going to let
In 1977, Allen is able to deal with women confidently. Here he is on his first date with Diane Keaton and Annie Hall. Listen to how he takes charge.
Hey, listen, give me a kiss.
Really?
Yeah, why not? Because we're just going to go home later, right? And there's going to be all that tension, you know, we never kissed before, and I'll never know when to make the right move or anything. So we'll kiss now, we'll get it over with, and then we'll go eat, okay?
Oh.
We'll digest our food better.
Okay.
Annie Hall shows us Woody Allen at the top of his game. It's a warm, human comedy, rich with laughs and ideas. Maybe that's why it was the first comedy in 38 years to win the Academy Award as Best Picture. It's a most inventive piece of filmmaking.
Okay, so fine. When it won the Oscar, I was happy because I think Annie Hall is a very good picture, too. I loved it. I'm not so sure I'm crazy about his next 2 films. Interiors, which was deliberately a very serious drama, but then Manhattan, where you see once again, this creeping seriousness, this feeling that Woody Allen is beginning to take the issues that he raises quite seriously in terms of human relationships, what he stands for, what he thinks about women and so forth. That's okay. Maybe it's great in the work of another director, but dare I say there's such a thing as growing too much, growing beyond comedy? I mean, you look at the 2 great American comic directors, Keaton and Chaplin. Now, Keaton basically remained himself, and he tried to perfect that persona, perfect the kind of movie that he wanted to make, and make it better and better. Chaplin got creeping seriousness. It's almost a disease. In a movie like The Great Dictator, he ends it with a long speech about the state of affairs in the world and so forth that's just deadly dull.
I think that Manhattan is a fine film. It's an attempt, certainly by Allen, to perfect his art in his mind, and he's tackling it on a little harder edge. He doesn't want to make Annie Hall Part 2. He's also dealing with Diane Keaton, who's an actress who doesn't want to repeat herself. You know, these aren't shoddy filmmakers here. Your issue is right, Roger. I just think that you might be flagging Woody Allen a little too early.
Maybe what I'm trying to say is I'm trying to put up a defense of pure comedy. It's good enough in and of itself. A director like Allen doesn't have to do anything else or get more and more serious in order to justify his existence in my book. And what I've done is I've taken some scenes from Woody Allen films. First of all, some scenes that illustrate things that I really like in Woody Allen, and then later on some stuff from Manhattan indicating things I'm not so crazy about. And I'm going to start with the good stuff. One good thing about Woody Allen is that he has developed this great all-purpose comic persona this character, like Charlie Chaplin or Buster Keaton did, he's basically the skinny, insecure intellectual with the horn-rimmed glasses. He has a tendency to get goofy whenever he's around a pretty girl. Now, you say the Allen character is more secure around women in his later films, but I think the Allen character will probably always be a lot like he is in this scene from Annie Hall. Here he is, it's 3 o'clock in the morning, there's a spider in his former girlfriend's bathroom, and here comes Woody to the rescue.
What, did you go to a rock concert?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, really? Really? How'd you like it? Was it, I mean, was it heavy? Did it achieve total heaviosity, or was it...
It was just great.
Oh, I got a wonderful idea. Why don't you get the guy that took you to the rock concert, we'll call him, and he can come over and kill the spider. You know,
I called you. You want to help me or not, huh?
What is this? Since when do you read the National Review? What are you turning into?
Well, I like to try to get all points of view.
Well, wonderful. Then why don't you get William F. Buckley to kill the spider?
Alvy, you're a little hostile. You know that? Not only that, you look thin and tired.
Well, it's 3 o'clock in the morning. You got me out of bed. I ran over here. I couldn't get a taxi cab. You said it was an emergency. I ran up the stairs. But I was a lot more attractive when the evening began. Are you going with a right-wing rock and roll star?
Would you like a glass of chocolate milk?
Hey, what am I, your son? What do you mean? I came over for
I got the good chocolate.
Yeah, where's the spider?
It's in
Where's
the bathroom.
it in the bathroom?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Hey, don't squish it, and after it's dead, flush it down the toilet, okay? And flush it a couple of times.
Darling, I've been killing spiders since I was 30, okay? It's a very big spider.
Yeah?
A lot of trouble. There's 2 of them.
2?
Yep, I didn't think it was that big, but it's a major spider. You got a broom or something with a, a snow
it's
shovel
at your
maybe or
house. I
something?
think I left it there. I'm sorry.
Let me have this.
Oh, what are you doing? What are you doing?
Honey, there's a spider in your bathroom the size of a Buick.
Oh, okay.
There he is, Woody Allen, the basic Woody Allen character, courageously able to face any situation and be defeated by it. He has a sort of whistling in the dark bravery there that we can easily identify with, and speaking for myself, when the chips are down and there's a big hairy spider in the bathroom, I'm no more crazy about going in there after it than Woody is. He gives us an all-purpose character there that we can laugh at and love at the same time. And I like him when he plays everyman as a schlep, but in his recent movies, Allen has begun playing characters that are closer to himself. His characters resemble the famous Woody Allen, the real Woody Allen, the insecure New York intellectual that we've read about. Look at this scene, for example, from Manhattan, which is filmed in black and white. Woody and his friends, including the teenager he's dating and Diane Keaton, who he's destined to fall in love with, are engaged in one of New York's favorite intellectual word games, the put-down.
What about Mozart? You guys don't want to leave out Mozart. I mean, while you're trashing people.
Oh, well, how about Vincent van Gogh or Ingmar Bergman?
Did you say Van Gogh?
Ingmar Bergman.
You get in trouble.
Bergman? Bergman's the only genius in cinema today, I think.
Big Bergman fan.
God, you're so the opposite. I mean, you write that absolutely fabulous television show. It's brilliantly funny, and his view is so Scandinavian. It's bleak. My God. I mean, all that Kierkegaard, right? Real adolescent, you know, fashionable pessimism.
But compare the feeling in those scenes with the feeling we got while we were watching Annie Hall. Now, do you really call that growth in his relationship? Because I don't. His characters have become self-consciously intellectual, analytical, and not as funny. You can see Woody Allen there slipping away from his all-purpose comic persona that he developed in those other movies and into a character who might be a lot closer to life, but he's also a lot less funny. And I don't call that growth, Gene. I think he's in danger of losing what made him unique.
I think that this can be said, that Woody Allen, a lot of people wanted to make Annie Hall Part 2. Maybe you were one of those people. Well, he didn't make that. He's got a brighter mind than that. Maybe he couldn't be contained in just duplicating himself. He's done it once. He wants to move on to something else. Diane Keaton is an actress, too. She's a powerhouse. She doesn't want to just play Annie Hall again. I think that they joked about these same issues once. They want to put a little harder edge on it. And I laughed with the Van Gogh line.
No, I didn't want Annie Hall Part 2. I'm just concerned about Manhattan being, in addition to the things that they're taking as, that they were joking about before and they're being a little more serious now, I think they're being really more serious now. And I'm not sure that Manhattan or a Woody Allen picture is the right vehicle for that at all.
Well, all right, listen, I have some objections to what's going on in Mel Brooks' career.
All right.
My favorite of all of his films is The 12 Chairs, which was his second film made right after The Producers and before Blazing Saddles. I like those films, too. But The 12 Chairs is wonderful. It's set in Russia during the Revolution. A couple of peasants, Ron Moody and Frank Langella, are searching for a fortune in jewels hidden in the seat of one of a set of 12 matching chairs. They track down 11 of the chairs at the Moscow Museum of Furniture.
The chairs are not here. Look, see that cabinet, Empire, and those writing tables, Louis XV. We're on the wrong floor. I know we're on the wrong floor.
Take it easy. Take it easy.
And what if they're not here at all? How would we ever find them? Where would we look? Who would we ask? They're lost, I tell you, lost. I never should. My chairs. My chairs. That's my furniture. I wonder which one it is.
Don't you worry about it. We will know soon enough. We will get the chairs at closing time.
Closing time.
Closing time, closing time, closing time, closing time, closing time.
What shall we do?
Wait until these people go by, and then you follow me.
Get those hams, dining room chairs, and put them on the cart.
Don't make a sound.
Something happened to the 12 Chairs that I think may have changed Mel Brooks' career in a very important way. The 12 Chairs was a financial flop, and that flop came right after the box office failure of The Producers, which was a wonderful film, but it didn't make any money either. So with the 12 Chairs, Mel Brooks' film career was really in jeopardy. What happened? Well, after 3 long years of work, he finally got financing for Blazing Saddles, which was a tremendous box office success. Ever since then, he's gone, I think, for the belly laughs and for the profits, considerable profits to be found in parodies of old movies. But that formula, I think, is growing stale. In High Anxiety, his most recent film, Brooks parodies the thrillers of Alfred Hitchcock, here involving a typical Hitchcock case of mistaken identity.
Dr. Thorndike?
Yes?
Here's a little present for you.
What is this? Who are you? Why are you? Wait! Who are you? What does this mean? What does this mean? What does this mean?
That's the man! That's the man who shot him!
No, wait, you don't understand. This is not my gun. It was... Oh, my God. Man is dead. I didn't... he shot her, I'm sure. He took off a mask. He took off my face. This was given to me by somebody who looked just like me.
Why did you do it? Why did you do it?
That's not very scary and I don't think very funny. You have to be a film student to know that Brooks is parodying the Hitchcock films where people like Cary Grant and Ingrid Bergman have been wrongly accused of a crime and then spend the whole movie trying to prove themselves innocent. Even if you do know that, I think the film is sort of a lame joke. So, I think Mel Brooks has abandoned warm human comedies for formula parodies made especially for film freaks. It's a formula I think that's wearing out, and that's one reason I prefer the direction that Woody Allen's career has taken him.
Well, I agree with your criticism of High Anxiety. I think you do have to know the Hitchcock films in order to get the joke, and even then I'm not sure it's that funny because Hitchcock was there first with the joke. It's much easier in a parody to attack something that's very stuffy and takes itself very seriously.
Like the Western, maybe?
Like the Western, or in many cases the monster movie. But in the case of Hitchcock, he knows the joke already. He kids himself, and so it's very hard to outflank him.
Okay.
But as far as his other films are concerned, first of all, I'm not sure that the early Brooks films were that warm and human, even though you seem to think so. I think The Producers was kind of cold and cynical, and all the funnier for that. And in terms of the parodies of the movie genres, I think what Mel Brooks wants when he walks past a theater that has one of his movies playing into it is the sound of laughter coming from inside.
Of course.
That's what I want when I go to a Brooks movie, is to laugh. I think I can defend his career on that basis, that he wants to amuse me. That's enough. I'm satisfied.
Well, Roger, I'm not saying that laughter isn't what I want, or I think that laughter is trivial. I want to laugh, too. One of the things that gets in the way of Mel Brooks making me laugh, I must tell you, is him now wanting to have himself star as the center stage character in his own films, like we just saw in High Anxiety. For me, that doesn't work. I prefer, as a leading man in the picture, a little bit of a more innocent actor like Dom DeLuise, who's been in Brooks's pictures, or Gene Wilder. I think they're better film actors And I think that Brooks is better as just a supporting player who comes on and makes a real wild statement for one. But you know what I'm saying?
Well, now I think you're shifting the area of the attack a little bit. But I defend Brooks as a film actor. I think he was fine in Silent Movie. He was fine for what he needed to do in High Anxiety. So I reject that attack, and I also defend him as a treasure for his ability, which is very rare, to make me laugh. And I think that's enough. Brooks does make me laugh, and that is such a rare ability that it's plenty for me. Here's a scene from Brooks's first film, which I want to show you, The Producers, made in 1968. This remains, for me, one of the single funniest and most memorable scenes that Mel Brooks or Woody Allen or anybody else has ever done. It stars Zero Mostel as a crooked Broadway producer who's just cooked up a scheme to make a lot of money by defrauding the investors in a show he plans to produce. And Gene Wilder is the nervous, certified public accountant who's supposed to juggle the books. Now, Mostel tries to convince Wilder they'll make millions, enough to fly off to Rio.
Rio by the sea, oh, mio, oh, my.
You're holding me too tight.
Rio by the sea, oh, me.
I'm an honest man. You don't understand.
No, Bloom, you don't understand. This is fate. This is destiny. This is kismet. There's no avoiding it.
Mr. Bialek's talking not more than 5 minutes ago. I doctored your books. That, sir, is the ultimate extent of my criminal life.
Wow! I want that money!
Please don't jump on me.
I'm not gonna jump! I'm not gonna! Will you get a hold of yourself?
Don't touch me! Don't touch me! Oh, my God, no.
What's the matter with you?
I'm hysterical. I'm having hysterics. I'm hysterical. I can't stop when I get like this. I can't stop. I'm hysterical. Oh, no. I'm wet. I'm wet. I'm hysterical and I'm wet.
That's got to be a classic scene. You know,
Sure.
for years, whenever everything is broken out at the same time, that's what I've said. I've said, I'm hysterical and I'm wet.
No, it's a great line, and I just want to point out that's early Mel Brooks, which is the Mel Brooks that I really love. Here is my last chance, though, at convincing you that Woody Allen is funnier than Brooks. This is one of Woody Allen's greatest scenes. In the beginning of Annie Hall, Woody Allen's character tells us about his childhood. In a very clever and tender moment, he takes us back to his second-grade classroom.
I must say, I always thought my schoolmates were idiots. Melvin Greenglass, you know, his fat little face, and Henrietta Farrell, just Miss Perfect all the time, and Ivan Ackerman, always the wrong answer, always.
7 and 3 is live.
Even then, I knew they were just jerks. In 1942, I had already discovered women.
He kissed me!
That's the second time this month. Step up here.
What did I do?
Step up here.
What did I do?
You should be ashamed of yourself. Why? I was just expressing a healthy sexual curiosity. 6-year-old boys don't have girls on their minds. I did.
For God's sake, Alvy, even Freud speaks of a latency period.
Well, I never had a latency period. I can't help it. Why couldn't you have been more like Donald? Now, there was a model boy.
Tell the folks where you are today, Donald. I run a profitable dress company.
Boy, sometimes I wonder where my classmates are today.
I'm president of the Pincus Plumbing Company. I used to be a heroin addict. Now I'm a methadone addict. I'm into leather.
Those kids are priceless. It's a very, very creative scene. It's wise and a little bit sad, too, to see a bunch of kids and find out what's happened to them. If Woody Allen hadn't taken risks like he's been doing, he would never have made Annie Hall. That's an inventive piece of filmmaking. He should keep taking big risks.
You know, one thing, in the 20s we had Chaplin and Keaton, in the 40s we had McCary and Preston Sturges, and now we have Woody Allen and Mel Brooks. I think we're lucky to have these two guys to talk about at the same time. I'm looking forward to their next films. And so much for Mel Brooks and Woody Allen. We agree on one thing, they're the two funniest filmmakers working today. And that's it for this show. Join us next week for sneak previews, and until then, we'll see you at the movies.
I don't think you would have this debate now because, you know, Woody Allen, 31 years later, is as well known for being a drama director as he is for being a comedy director.
And for pumping out a movie every
And
year,
puts
whether
out
he should or not.
Yeah, and Mel Brooks hasn't made a movie in 16 years. I mean, he had some success on Broadway with The Producers, but no films from him since 1995.
But this episode was shot long before a lot of the very minor, very forgettable Woody Allen stuff, like Curse of the Jade
Oh,
Scorpion.
I like Curse of the Jade Scorpion. Which actually raises the most important question.
Right.
Which one do you think is funnier, Mel Brooks or Woody Allen?
I have to go with Roger on this and pick Mel Brooks just for the sheer unabashedness of the raunchiness and wildness of the humor. It's much more fun.
You know, I find Allen funnier.
Yeah.
More
cerebral, of course, like
no,
you.
not more cerebral. I think he's funnier. His humor is more controlled. But you know what? Brooks is more liberated. He will do absolutely anything for a gag. He'll make any joke, regardless of how stupid it is. And that I kind of like about him.
I think per film, I would rather pop a Mel Brooks movie into the DVD player than a Woody Allen one. So